Hello everyone, back tuning in to the NAO Forecast for winter of 2016-2017. So this is a big one, this is one you've been waiting for quite some time. I normally do the NAO Forecast in June. I've delayed it a month this year to do it at the start of July. So this is sort of the first step, if you like, to the winter updates. The winter updates proper begin in September. We always start winter updates off in September and build up through the autumn till we get to winter forecast at the start of December. But this is the first step. Every journey has a first step. Every saga has a beginning, and this is the first step and the beginning of the saga of winter 2016-2017. So what we're going to do with this, it's a UK Met Office methodology to examine the sea surface temperature anomalies in the Atlantic Ocean during the month of May. And then because there seems to be a connection, I'm not sure it's all that well understood, but there seems to be a connection between the sea surface temperature anomalies that you have in the Atlantic Ocean in May. You then create a forecast for what the NAO is likely to be in the winter, because the sea surface temperature anomalies that you get in May tend to resurface as you get through into the winter months. So that's what we're going to be doing for this video. We're going to do an NAO forecast. Remember, the North Atlantic Oscillation is not a driver of the weather. It's an index that reflects a state of the atmosphere in the North Atlantic. Now, before I get on with the forecast part of the video, I've got to, of course, explain what the North Atlantic Oscillation is. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. If you know about the connection between sea surface temperature anomalies in the month of May and the North Atlantic Oscillation, then I would suggest you skip on in a moment to the latter part of the video. But I have to assume that there's going to be a lot of people watching this for the very first time, haven't seen the previous NAO forecast that we've done. This is going to be, I think it's the fifth one. We've been doing them since 2012, so been doing them for quite a long time. And of course, if you've been watching these over the years, you'll know about the idea from the NAO forecast. But I have to assume there's a lot of people going to be watching this that haven't seen it before. So I'm going to talk about North Atlantic Oscillation and then the connection to sea surface temperature anomalies in May. And then we'll do the forecast. Before I get on with that, just to say about the ads at gavsovis.com. There's links to articles on all of the pages. If you have a browser widgets and click through the links, you'll be helping to pay for our website. And thanks so much for doing that. There's video ads on most of the pages, and they open up content when you watch them. They'll close back up again. It does help to pay for gavsweathervids.com. So I'm going to start off by talking about the North Atlantic Oscillation. And essentially, the North Atlantic Oscillation is an index that reflects the state of the atmosphere in the North Atlantic. So when the North Atlantic Oscillation is positive, when the NAO is positive, it's basically this kind of setting. I'll get rid of myself and so you can see this. Okay. So this is what a positive North Atlantic Oscillation looks like. This is from 1989. And you've got a big trough of low pressure to the north around Greenland and Iceland with all these purple colours. You've got a lot of ridging down to the south across Spain, France, and it extends down into the Azores as well. A strong jet stream is generally going to the north of the country like that. So it's westerly, it's mild, and it's wet and windy for the UK. And that extends into Europe. Southern Europe tends to be quite dry and warm, unless it's foggy, across southern Europe when the NAO is positive, whereas northern Europe tends to be mild and stormy, with strong to gale force westerly winds. So the NAO tells us what the setup is, if you like. This isn't driving the NAO. I should say the NAO isn't driving this. This is driving the NAO, if you like. And if you have a look at another year that has a very positive NAO, this is from 1993. And again, you see it's the same idea. We've got all these blue and purple colours to the north of us, around Greenland, Iceland, going into Scandinavia. They've got a lot of high pressure in the Atlantic, around the Azores. It extends into Spain. It goes up towards France. This one extends over towards the Black Sea over here as well. The jet stream coming through the country, or to the north of the country like that, through to the north of the UK, blasting towards northern Europe, getting strong stormy jet stream, and it's very western. It's the default setup. The positive North Atlantic Oscillation is the default winter setup for the UK and for Europe as well. We are dominated by the ocean that we sit next to during the winter, and that provides a default setup of westerly to southwesterly winds, which typically are mild and stormy. Now, the other side of the coin with the North Atlantic Oscillation is when it goes negative. When it goes negative, it's the complete opposite of this. So I'll show you a chart from the 31st of December 1978, and notice the difference. There's the positive, or there's what a positive North Atlantic Oscillation looks like. This is what a negative North Atlantic Oscillation looks like. It's totally the opposite. So instead of low pressure around Greenland and Iceland, we've got high pressure up here, and again up here, and over towards there as well. And then to the south, instead of high pressure through the Azores into Spain and Portugal, we've got low pressure. We've got low pressure running through there and there and there. The jet stream, instead of going to the north of Ireland and the UK, passing to the north and west, it's going to the south. It's going through the Bay of Biscay and into southern Europe in that sort of position. And because the atmosphere is doing that, remember, the North Atlantic Oscillation isn't driving this, the atmosphere is driving the index. Because the atmosphere is in this setup, with all of this blocking up here, all of this low pressure down here, because of that, the North Atlantic Oscillation as an index is going to be negative, will be very negative in that scenario. And again, another negative North Atlantic Oscillation is this one from December 2010. Again, notice that we've got all of the blocking to the north around Greenland. It extends down into the Atlantic. Then we've got low pressure here across Central Europe. Got low pressure in the Central Atlantic in towards Spain. The jet stream with this one is doing something a bit like that, very extreme blocking that one is. And again, because you've got such an amount of extreme blocking, the North Atlantic Oscillation is going to be very negative. So that's the difference between the negative and the positive North Atlantic Oscillation. You have to think of a North Atlantic Oscillation in terms of an index that's reflecting what's going on. So in the same way as the Financial Times Share Index is an index that reflects the movement of individual share prices, either upwards or downwards, and then you come to an ultimate aggregate that reflects the movement of the day from those individual companies and shares. The North Atlantic Oscillation is an index that works very much in the same way. Now, there is a connection between these years that have a lot of blocking, have a lot of ridging in the winter, in the northern latitudes, and consequently their negative North Atlantic Oscillation winters. There is a connection, it's a UK Met Office idea, there's a connection between the sea surface temperature anomalies that occur in the Northern Atlantic Ocean in the month of May. So I'm going to show you a couple of years that have a distinct pattern in terms of the sea surface temperature anomalies in the month of May, and were followed by negative NAO, i.e. cold and blocked winters. So the first year we're going to look at is 2010. This is the sea surface temperature anomaly from NOAA in May 2010. You notice there's a very distinct three-way band going on here. So we've got these warmer than average sea surface temperature anomalies across the far north of the Atlantic Ocean to the south of Greenland. And then we're significantly cooler through the central part of the North Atlantic, in that area just there, going towards the east coast of America and extending out into the Central Atlantic. And then we've got another warmer mass of water here in the tropical Atlantic Ocean. Three distinct bands of warm, of cold, and of warm again. This is called a tripole because it's three bands of warmer, colder, warmer. So that's what we're looking for in the month of May in terms of the sea surface temperature anomalies to guide us towards the possibility of a colder and more blocked type winter in the UK and also in Northern Europe. We see it again here from 1995. This is quite a long time ago, so the resolution is significantly different, but essentially it's the same idea. We've got warm sea surface temperature anomalies through the tropical part of the Atlantic Ocean. And then we've got this cooler mass of water here around the east coast of the United States. And then up here it is warmer, although we've got this blue around here. Ignore that. That's wrong. What it should actually show there is warmer here, cooler here, and then warmer just here, and it extends up to there as well. So essentially we've still got that three-way band of warmer, colder, warmer in that sort of motion. That again is a tripole. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking to get a tripole in terms of the sea surface temperature anomalies in the month of May. And when we get that tripole, we can then start to think about the possibility that it will re-emerge in the winter. And a tripole in the winter, those warm, cold, warm bands in the North Atlantic, will go along with the chance, or an enhanced chance, of blocking in the northern latitudes, so around Greenland and Iceland, which in turn delivers colder conditions, or can deliver colder conditions, to the UK and Europe, and a negative North Atlantic oscillation. So it's time to get on with the forecast part of the update now. So this is what we were looking at last year. Just want to throw this one in. When we did the NAO forecast last year, we predicted a positive North Atlantic oscillation for the coming winter of 2015-2016. It's based on, amongst others, this chart just here from the 5th, from the 18th of May. Of course, it's the other way around because America does dates, don't they? So it's the 5th, 18th, 15, which for us in the UK is the 18th of May 2015. And what we see here is that we don't have a tripole. Actually, we have the reverse of the tripole. We've got colder waters up here, warmer waters here, and then colder again just here. So this actually, it is a three-way sort of band across the North Atlantic, three distinct areas, but it's the opposite of a tripole. So it doesn't get much stronger in terms of a signal for a positive NAO from that one. And that's what we predicted. We did get a positive NAO. Of course, it was a mild winter 2015-2016 across the UK and Europe. So let's see how things have panned out during May 2016. So I'm going to start off with the sea surface temperature anomaly chart from the 2nd of May 2016. And you can see we start off without a tripole. We certainly haven't got a tripole. It's cooler up here, and it's near normal just here, and then it's warmer. It is warmer for the tropical part of the Atlantic. So this area just here is looking really quite warm. This is near normal to a bit cool, and then we've got this massive cold water which is really left over from the winter actually across the north of the Atlantic Ocean. No tripole there. We go through to the 9th of May. And again, it's a very similar situation. It's cooler here and then warmer here. It is warming a little bit to the south of Greenland, but not enough to say we've got anything like a tripole there. We go through to the 16th of May. Again, we don't have a tripole. What we've got is cooler here, and then generally the Atlantic is warmer than it was last year. It's definitely significantly warmer through the tropics, and this central part over here, I think it's generally quite warm to near normal just there. The real cold sea surface temperature anomalies in the northeastern Atlantic. The 23rd of May 2016, again, no tripole. It is warmer still through the tropics, otherwise it's average to nearer normal up there. And then finally we end May 2016. This is the 30th of May. Again, no tripole. We don't have those three distinct bands of warm, cool, warm. What we have is cool just here, and then nearer normal just here, and then warmer down in the tropics. So we don't have a tripole this May, or we haven't had a tripole this May, and consequently I can't go forward and forecast a negative North Atlantic oscillation. So from this particular methodology, I can't predict a negative North Atlantic oscillation for the winter of 2016-2017. But the warmth in the tropics is interesting because when it's warmer there, it is one of the signals that can help towards a colder winter through various feedback mechanisms. And if I just show you what's happened during June, you can see that things have warmed quite a lot actually in the Northern Atlantic during June. So we have got warmer anomalies now beginning to develop south of Greenland. It's still pretty warm through the Mediterranean, and it's a bit cooler just here. This still isn't quite a tripole. You would want to see, to have a tripole, you would want to see this cold area kind of expanding out a bit like that. So you want a cold area from there to there, and then warmer up here, and then of course warmer through the tropics. So even that isn't quite a tripole, but you can see that through June it has warmed to the south of Greenland, and this warmth is being maintained through the tropical part of the Atlantic Ocean. So the forecast is going to go for nearer neutral this winter, 2016-2017. I think we're still going towards the side of positive, but I think it's probably going to be much less positive than the past few winters have tended to be. So we bring the North Atlantic Oscillation Forecast towards, say, neutral to very, very weakly positive. Have to say, I've looked back through all the past years at NOAA, going back to the early 80s. You can actually go back towards around 1984. And I've looked at those years. I can't find a year that's a match for what's going on in the North Atlantic this year. It's definitely in a warmer state compared to what we had last year, and the tropics particularly are significantly warmer compared to how they was last year. So I'm going to say that the North Atlantic Oscillation is not going to be as positive as the past few years. I think it's probably still slightly on the side of being positive for the winter, but it's much, much closer to neutral this winter. And of course, with the North Atlantic Oscillation being closer to neutral, that could allow the possibility for other things to sort of override the Atlantic signal. What's tending to happen over the past couple of winters is that the North Atlantic has been in a very, very positive state of the NAO. So it's been very well set up for strong westerly winds and very mild conditions over the past couple of winters. I'm not sure that's going to be the case for this winter. I think the Atlantic is going to be much less set up for westerlies. And if that is the case, we could perhaps start to think about other things beginning to override the Atlantic a little bit. So those things would be like solar activity, like rapid build per SOCA across Russia, various things that we look at through the autumn. And this will become much more apparent when I do winter or updates starting in the autumn. We'll talk about all of these other signals, Mercubio, hurricane activity in the North Atlantic, all of the things that go into those winter updates, but we begin in September. And if those other elements that make up the winter forecast start to point towards a colder type winter, for example, if we just get a rapid build-up of snow cover across Russia in October, then unlike the past couple of winters when the Atlantic has been very well set up for a mild winter and nothing else really has been able to override that signal, this winter could be a bit different. Could be that the Atlantic is far weaker, and that allows the potential for other elements to come into play. So the GasWeatherViz.com Winter 2016-2017 NAO forecast is for neutral to slightly positive for the coming winter. But if you like cold weather, if you like your winters to be crisp and wintry, I would suggest you come back in September and enjoy the ride, because I think this year could be a little bit more interesting compared to the past few. So it's very early days. This is just like the first step, as I said at the beginning of the video. This is the beginning of the updates, if you like. This is just the base from which we will then build upon, just the starting point, and the winter updates get underway at the start of September. Right, that's it. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the winter 2016-2017 NAO forecast. And that's all for now. Enjoy what's left of your day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.